Assalamu alaikum. So as I promised that I will make some video based on some of the lessons that we had in the past and some of you missed. So I'm making this video to cover two lessons, at least two of them that not all of us attended. So the first one is going to be on user input, and the second one will be on string and number. How do we concatenate, that is, how do we add string and numbers together? So let's start with user input first. So I want you to save, just open the new file and save it as user input.py. So when we say user input, remember when we declare variable, for example, if I create a variable name and I give it Abdelwasi, which is my name. So I want you to do the same, create a variable and give it your own name, and then print the variable name. So when we do that, we can see that we print the name down. But what happens is that it is you are making the code that created the variable and supplies the value for the variable. You created the variable name and give it the value Abdelwasi, or your own name. So it is also possible that you create a variable and you expect people outside that to come over and interact with the variable that you create. They will supply the value for that variable, and then Python will accept the value and use it for whatever you want it to use it for. So this one is just like how computer interact with other people. So let's go ahead and see how user input, how it's work. So now we create the variable and then we give it name Abdelwasi. But in this case now, let's create the same variable. So instead of giving it name Abdelwasi directly, you add an input. We call it input function. And then you now ask the user to put his username or his name. So you say, what is your name? So you're asking somebody to give its to give his name or her name to the computer. Now, if I print, let me comment out the first one here. Now let's print name again. Print name. So let's see what computer will do. If I run this code, you can see when I run the code, computer asks, what is your name? And then you can see that the cursor is blinking here, down here. So it is expecting the user to answer the question. Now, if let me sit down, I will answer the question. I will say Abdelwasi, Abdelhamid. That's my name. And then I click enter. You can see now, computer now print that. So if you want to see it clearly how it's go, instead of printing name, go back to line 6. Instead of printing name, let's use F formatting. We'll say welcome. Welcome. Welcome name, remember? The name is the variable there. And then it will take what you give. So Python will print this now. It will print welcome, what you give as the input here, what the user give as the input will be printed as name down here. So let me print it again. So what's your name? If I say my name is Mr. Beans, say my name is Mr. Beans, and then I print it. You can see computer says welcome Mr. Beans. So if somebody else just come Maybe your sister just come and then computer asks for his name and said, my name is Rashida, and then print enter. Computer will say, welcome Rashida, instead of you putting the name of the person directly as we did in line 2 up here. So that is how computer take input from user. So we use input here. So input is asking user to type something. Now, when a user type something inside the input, there's a response. Computer see the input, it is seen as a string. See as a string. Remember I said when we said string are just series of characters that are inside quotes like this. Anything that you find in quote like this, Abdul Hamid, is a string. It can be single quote, it can be double quote, Abdul Hamid. So it is a string. Now, so anything that user puts as the input here at line 5 here, computer will read it as a string. I will let you know what I mean by that quickly. So let's copy this code. I don't want to copy, don't copy please. Type age, create a variable age, and assign it to an input variable, again an input function. Say, how old are you? How old are you? Sorry. So question, computer is asking for your age. So, and then we say print your age, something years old, what you put, remember? Years old. So this is a variable, remember? What the user gave will be replaced by this, what we have in the curly brace here, remember? So I want to let you know that anything that you put, that a user puts in the input is, it is a string. So let me say your age years old, and then I will continue plus. Okay, let me do that and do it twice so you don't have error. Control copy, Control V, and then you will be age +1 or +2 years old in 2023. I will explain what this one means. Let's run the code first. So say, what's your name? Jawasi. Then how old are you? Suppose I say I'm 75 years old. I just put 75 and then enter. Can you see? We have an error. So there's an error there. Although if you see, computer says you are 75 years old, so it means line 13 was printed. That is, computer was able to read what you put in line 12. Say you are 75 years old because I put 75 there. But what we have in line 13 could not be printed. Why that? Of course, it's supposed to print, what we expect computer to print is to say you will be you will be 75 plus 2, which is what? 75 plus 2 is 77 years old in 2023. So that is what we expect computer to print. But instead of that, computer did not print it. Computer printed an error. So computer said type error can only concatenate string, not int, to string. So we are into a new thing now. Let me just copy this statement here. So we are going to analyze it. Control copy. So computer say type error. So what is type? What is type first? So for Python, different functions, variable, character, whatever we create in Python, they have different types. So what I mean is that, you remember I said Abdulhamid, what we have here, I will say copy, I'll put it down here. I say Abdulhamid, it is a string because of what? Because we put it in in a quote or in two quotes. So anything that you put in quotes, the type of that is string. So what I mean is this. For us to know, let's assign this to variable your name equals Abdulhamid. Now you can check, you can say print type your name. Computer will let us know what is the type of this value. Anything we put in quotes, remember I said they are string. So if I run this, let us comment this out so it does not delay us. Comment this one out as well. So we're going to have error here. I will comment this out as well. So we'll come back to that. So only this one will print type your name. Oh, name is not defined. Where is that? Which line? Printf welcome name. Okay, here because we asked us to print this. So this one and this. That's another error. We'll talk about that another time. Okay, so you can see computer said str. str means string. That is, I asked it to print type your name. I told you that your name, the value of your name is string. So Python use str to represent type string. So it means it is string. So let's look at any other type. So here I said your age. I want to know the type of this. Your age, 19. So type your age. What type is this? What does Python understand this to be? So print your age. Computer understand that as what? As int. Int means integer. So this is just for you to remember. This is type integer, and this is type string. So Python will call it str, and then it will call this one int. Remember, in mathematics, numbers are integers. Numbers that don't have, they are integers in math, but in Python, numbers that does not have decimal points. Okay, I will just let you know that quickly. I say print, let me just say money, or let me say amount on you, and let me just say amount equals 20.5. So let's print type amount now. Print type amount. So we have type your age, type your name. Let me put type your name there as well. Your name. So all the three, let's bring them. You can see the first one is str. I said it is string, that is your name. The second one is integer, it's a number. The third one is also a number, but it is a decimal number. So Python call decimal number, call it float number. So your age, and that is 19 and 20.5, both of them are number. But for Python, one is an integer number, the other one is a float number. Float number means number with decimal points. So we have three types here now. So we don't want to go back to this error. So understand when we say type error, type is meaning, it means what is the how does Python understand your input? Is it a string, an integer, or a float? So that's number one. Now it said can only concatenate. Now, so what is concatenate again? To copy. So let's go back down here and then we'll put concatenation. Concatenation means adding, it means adding, it means adding strings, str, adding strings together. So when you add a string to another string, or you add added strings or added strings to string, let me say adding a string and a string to another, or adding a string to what? An integer, or a float. So that is concatenation. So let's see what I'm talking about here. It is possible to add string to another string. So let's see that quickly. So we have your name over there. So down here, let's declare another variable. We call it your surname. And then we call it, we give it the value Abdullah. Abdullah. So let's say my surname is Abdullah and my own name is Abdulwasi. Now I want the computer to print my full name. So my full name will be your name plus your, is it your age? Okay, your surname. Your surname. So you can see now I'm adding your name, which is a string. I'm adding it to another string. So I use adding just for you to understand. This plus does not mean adding. When you are dealing with string, it means concatenate. So I concatenate this string to this string. So if computer want to want to print the full name now, let's see what we are going to have as the full name. Print full name. Full name. Okay, so let's print that. You can see I have Abdul Hamid, Abdullah, but there is no space between them. So what we expect is just to add both of them together, and that has been done. But for them to be separated, then you can do it in two ways. The first way is to add space here, plus, just put a space. So it means it will print your name it will print a space, and then it will print your surname when it prints full name. So let's see it. You can see now Abdul Hamid Abdullah. Abdul Hamid is the value for your name. That's a space, the value for the space here, and then the value for your surname is Abdullah. So what we did here now, we concatenate. This is concatenation. We add, what do you call it? We add a string to another string. So this is very useful when computer is asking for, when you are creating like a file, and then you now use the value of the file in another code. So like for example now, somebody, you ask for for somebody's name, you give the name, and then the person give his surname as well. You now say welcome Abdul Wasi Abdul Hamid. So how do you do that? You will use concatenation to concatenate surname to your name. Now, so this is possible, but let's now try and concatenate your name plus your age. Print your name plus your age. Let's see what we're going to have in this case. You remember we have your name up here already, and then we have your age up here. So let's see. We have the same error. Can only concatenate string, not integer to string. I think you understand the error now. You say we can only add string to string. You cannot add string and integer together. So that is the problem here now. But this is possible. We can find a way around this. So what we do is to convert. So it is possible to conversion from a type to another. You can convert a string to an integer or an integer to a string, but there's a way to do that too. Not all string can be converted to an integer. So let's correct this line 35 here. So we want it to be able to print, we expect it to print your name, Abdul Hamid, I think. I want it to print Abdul Hamid, and then was the age there, 19. So that is what we expect it to print, Abdul Hamid 19, without space anyway, Abdul Hamid 19. So that is what we expect it to print. So how will it print that? Computer can print that. Since this is a string already, Abdul Hamid is a string, we can also convert 19 to a string. How do we do that? So I want to take your age down here. Control copy. I have your age, which is 19. So you just say your age equals, want to change it from integer to string, you say str and put it in brackets. So it means it is no longer, computer will not read it, or Python will not read 19 as a number any longer. It will read it as a string. So if you print your name plus your age now, let's see what we are going to get. Can you see? We have Abdulhamid 19, because this has been converted to, or it has been, yes, converted from integer to string. So that is how to convert from integer to string. So how do we convert from string to an integer? This is not possible. There's some string that you can convert, there's some string you cannot convert. For example, you want to convert, let me take Abdulhamid. I say print your name So you remember this is a string before, so I want to convert it to integer. say print str, sorry, int your name. Remember, this is possible up here too. Instead of say your age, you can say int, you can say str, which is better, str your age for the same. So it means the value of your age will be converted to string with the same as what we did last time. So let's see. Yeah, yes, there's a problem because of what I have down here. Because of what I have here. So let me just remove this first and then let's print. Okay, print str your age. You can only concatenate string, not int to. Yeah, your age has been okay. It's not there any longer. Oh, it's there. Type your age. Let me just try something here. Okay, I know what happened. Because I'm asking it to print your age here. So instead of using it up here, we're supposed to use it here. str your age. This is what we're supposed to do. Yeah. Print your name and then string your age. So if I run it now, you can see. So this your age has been converted to a string. 19 has been converted to a string. Now let's now go to line 41 before we finish. Print int your name. We want to convert Abdulhamid to an integer. Is that possible? No, it's not possible. So it said it's not possible. Base 10 means integer. We want to convert string to an integer. This Abdulhamid. That is not possible. The only thing that is possible when you are converting, if you want to convert a string to an integer, is if the string is a number with quotes. For example, I have, so let's remove this. I'll say gives an error, so you will know that this will give an error. So if you have number equals, or if you, let's call it date. If you have date equals 2023, or I will use year equals 2023 in quotes. Now this year, although it is number, but we'll put the number inside a quote, so it means that number is not a number. It is not a string now. It is not an integer. It is a string right now. You can check print type year. It will tell us, Python will tell us that year is a string. You can see string down here. Now we don't want it to be stringy. Suppose we want to add something to it. We want to say print year, like what happened up there, plus 2. So we expect this one to give us what? To give us 2025. But instead we will get an error. You can see we have an error. Can only concatenate that same error. So how do we bypass this error? When the only thing is just to convert this year now, 2023 year, we just say we convert it to integer. So this is how we can convert string to an integer. Now if I print now, we are going to get, it will give me 2025. Let me put it down here. So let's print. It will first print 2023 here, 2023, and down here to print 2025. 2025 here. Okay, so we are asking for type here. That's why it did not print. Only printed type. Okay. So it will print 2023 and 2025. Now you can see 2023 here. because um, the year is still a string up here. But down here, before we can add anything to that year, 2023, string, I would say string 2023. And here it's going to be int 2025. So 2023 have been changed to integer, and then we're able to add 2 to it to give us 2025. And that is what we did in the last two classes that you missed. So I believe you should be able to vibrate with us now when we continue next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.